So now we need the ability to edit smoothies. So ideally, we'd like a little edit button on each of these different smoothies. And if you press that, it took you to an edit screen where you can update the name and the ingredients of that smoothie. So first of all, let's create a smoothie component, or edit smoothie component rather. So components, go to new file and call this edit smoothie.view. Okay, so for now, let's do a very simple template. And inside here, we'll do a div, and this will have a class of edit-smoothie. We'll also actually give this a class of container, which is a class from materialize, brings everything into a central column. Then we'll do an h2 inside, and this will just say edit a smoothie. All right, so that's our template for now. Then we'll do our script tag down below with the object inside. We'll do our name property. This will be edit smoothie. And then we'll also do our data function like so. This returns an empty object at the minute. Okay, we also need a style tag for the bottom, just in case we style this component up differently later. So that's the basic component done. The next thing I'd like to do is set up our routes so that if we go to /add-smoothie/ the ID or the slug of that smoothie, then we serve up the edit smoothie component. So the first thing we need to do is import that component at the top. So import edit smoothie from, and it's at /components/ edit smoothie. Okay, so now we can create this route object for edit smoothie. So the first thing will be the path, and the path is going to be /edit-smoothie, then /colon, because this will be now a route parameter, and it will be the smoothie _slug. So I'm naming this parameter right here smoothie slug. I could call it slug if I wanted, but I'm going to name it smoothie slug to be more explicit so we know what this is. So remember, when we talked about route parameters, this right here is one, and it's denoted by this colon right here. So this means that if a user goes to /edit smoothie / anything here, for example, Mario-madness, then this right here, this smoothie slug is the Mario-madness part, right? So then we can grab that slug from the URL when we're in that component and use it to query our database. Now, if you need a refresher on route parameters, feel free to go back to the routing chapter and check out that tutorial on route parameters. So anyway, let us do the next part, which is the name, and that will be edit smoothie. And then finally, we need to link this up to a component, which again will be edit smoothie. Okay, so now we have this set up, this route. Let's give it a whirl. If we go to not that, we want to go to /edit-smoothie / and then go to morning-mood, then press enter. Now we can see we get the edit smoothie screen. So the component is loading up correctly. Now, the next thing I'd like to do is grab this thing right here, this slug, from the URL and display it on the page, just so you can see we can actually grab that, because ultimately we'll be using this to query our database to go and grab that smoothie. So then, let's go to our edit smoothie component, and the way we're going to output this is by using the route object. So we can access that route object directly in the template. We place our curly braces to say some dynamic content is going to go here. Then we can say this to refer to this component, dot, and then $route, so we can access the route object on this component here. Then we want the params, and that refers to the route parameters, so this thing right here. And then finally, it's .smoothie _slug. So remember, this is the name that we gave this parameter inside the route file over here. If we called it slug here, then we'd call this .slug right here. So now we're going to be able to access that inside this component, and right now all we're doing is outputting it to the template. Ultimately, we'll be using it to query the database, but for now we're just outputting it to the template. So we can see that right here. edit a smoothie, morning mood. And if this was Mario Madness, then we'd see Mario Madness here. So that's all working. Now, the last thing I want to do is on the home page, add in a little edit button right here, so that when we click on that, it takes us to the edit screen for that particular smoothie. So then let's go now to our index component right here. And we want to add this button after this stuff right here. So just before the second closing div, like that, we want to add our edit button. So it's just inside the card still, but it's outside of the card content. All right then, so the way we're going to do this is by creating a span first of all, and this is going to have a series of different classes. So we'll say class is equal to, and the first class is going to be btn-floating, then it's btn large because we want a large button. We're going to use the halfway fab class as well, which means it sits halfway over the boundary of the element. Then we'll also make this a pink button. Cool. So that's the classes sorted to make this look like a button. Then inside we want our router link. Now where is this going to link to? Well, we want it to link to the edit smoothie component. But to do that, we'll need to do a bit of data binding so that we can pass an object with our different route options in here. So the first option is the name, and the name of that route is edit smoothie. So it's going to take us to that component, but we also want to pass through our route parameter. Remember, we need to go to /edit smoothie /Mario-Madness or morning-mood. So we want to pass that route parameter here as an option. So remember, we can do that. We can say params, which is also an object, and inside this object, say which route parameters we want to pass through with this. So we want to pass through the smoothie_slug route parameter, and we want that to equal smoothie.slug. Remember, we have access to smoothie because we're cycling through them right here, okay? And we have a slug property on the smoothie. So we're just accessing the slug from that particular smoothie. So it's going to output this button for each one and this link for each different smoothie. So then inside this router link, what would we like to do? Well, we'd like to output an icon. So we'll say I first of all, and this will have a class equal to material-icon, or icons rather. We'll also give this a class of edit, and this will be edit as text. So the edit text right here comes up as a little pencil, I think. So if we save it and view it in a browser, we see that little pencil now. Cool, so now we know we can edit this. So let's give it a whirl. If I click on this, then I can see morning mood here. We'll go back. Now if I click on this one, we can see Mario Madness. Cool, so now this is directing us to the correct edit smoothie component. So the next thing we need to do is actually create this edit smoothie form.